Hello everyone, my name is Jennifer and welcome to Best Kept Plans. Today's video is going to be a look at my August 2026 TBR. If you're interested in hearing about the books that I want to read this month, please stick around. But we're going to be talking about the books that I have on my August 2026 TBR. I'm actually filming this video more than halfway through August. It will be posting in a couple of days, but not gonna lie, definitely not thinking I'm going to accomplish reading all of these books considering where we are in the month and what I've gotten to so far. So we're gonna dive right in and start talking about these. I did use TBR cards to pick my TBR for August 2026. I've been doing that all this year, and I believe I did it all of last year as well. This month, I'm pretty sure that all of the prompts that I used came from a card deck of prompts that I have from Pippi Post. The first one that we have is to read a book that was published this year. And I've definitely been in a romance mood since we are in summer. I love reading romance in the summer months. And something about this was calling to me, even though I'm really nervous to read it. And that is The Night We Met by Abby Jimenez. I love Abby Jimenez. I think her writing is fantastic. I generally really enjoy her books. I had a little bit of a harder time with her last book just because of the content and how it related to my life and my history, but I was very much looking forward to a new release from her. I'm always looking forward to a new release from her, but I have been very hesitant to actually pick this up and read it because I've definitely heard people talk about this here on YouTube and on Instagram, and I think I'm gonna have a hard time getting behind our two main characters and their relationship, given the context of how they know each other throughout this book. So I'm nervous to pick this up. Being honest, I don't know that I am actually going to get through this in the month of August. This may be one that I end up pushing off because I am so nervous to read it. But I do think the cover is gorgeous and the sprayed edges are cute. I never get her books in hardcover. Like, I waited until her last release came out in paperback, but I gave in because these end pages are absolutely stunning. I think they're beautiful. So the book itself is pretty. I don't know that I'm gonna like it. We'll see what happens. The next prompt for my August 2026 TBR is to read the shortest book on my TBR, and that ended up being The Unselected Journals of Emma M. Lyon, Volume 1 by Beth Brower. I have heard great things about this series. It sounds like most people feel like you need to get through books 1 and 2, maybe book 3 before everything like becomes really good, but I'm intrigued. I'm definitely interested. I'm curious to see how I'm gonna like this. And I did make the investment in purchasing, I think, almost the entire series before reading it. I was able to get a lot of them on sale, which was great. And I just couldn't pass up that opportunity. But I really hope I like them considering that I've already financially invested myself in this series. Our third prompt for August 2026 is to continue a series that I've already started. And I knew immediately what I wanted to pick for this prompt, but now that we're over halfway into the month and I'm where I'm at in my TBR, I'm a bit nervous I'm not going to get to this. I'm also nervous I'm not going to get to this because of a book I attempted to read last month. So the book that I did pick for this prompt is Wielder by Rachel Schneider. This is book 2 in the Fire and Metal series. Book 1 was Metal Slinger. I read that last year. I really liked it. I thought it was quite good. The ending was super bananas. It definitely leaves you on a big cliffhanger, and I was very much looking forward to picking this up and reading it. But last month, I attempted to read the second book in a duology by Mary A. Pearson, and I could not get into book 2 at all because so much time had passed since reading book 1, and I like vaguely remembered book 1, but like a lot of the details had already escaped me. And I'm very, very nervous the same thing is going to happen with this book. So I'm almost debating not reading it and then getting back to it at a time where I can read Metal Slinger again and then go directly into book two. Because I think that's what I have to do with The Last Wish of Bristol Keats, which is the one I tried last month. So this may be one that I opt to not end up reading because of the fact that I think my enjoyment of this would suffer from the fact that I remember very, very little about book one, except for the fact that the ending was quite shocking. The next prompt is to read your most recently purchased book, and that is actually Yesteryear by Caro Burke. I've heard wild things about this story. I don't know all of the details. I do know that it is about the idea of being a trad wife and what that actually means. I've heard that the ending of this is very divisive. There are some people who love it. There are some people that think it's terrible based on the ending. So I'm really curious to see how I'm going to respond to this. I've seen a lot of people talk about it online, but I actually know a couple people in my personal life that have read this and had very, very distinct opinions about it. So I'm excited. I'm hoping that I am going to get to this during the rest of the month of August, but I have a couple of other books that I want to get to prior to reading this, so we'll see what happens. I did get the audiobook through the Penguin Random House audio app, so thank you so much to them for providing me with the free audiobook for this book. I'm going to thoroughly enjoy immersion reading this, and yeah, I'm just very curious to see what this ends up being about and how I end up feeling about the ending. Our next prompt is to read the first book on my TBR list. And when I've gotten this prompt before for the last book, I've basically just looked at my shelves and seen what the last one is based on alphabetical order. So I did the same in reverse for this one. And I picked the book that was in the first spot based on alphabetical order, which is The Poet X by Elizabeth Acevedo. This has won a number of awards. I've heard really wonderful things about this. It's been on my shelves for a little while. I've been very intrigued by it for a while, but really wasn't one that was like pulling on me that I had to read ASAP. So I'm glad I was able to put this on my TBR as a means of motivating me to read it. I, spoiler alert, did read this already. So this is one of very few books on my TBR in the month of August that I've gotten to. And I cannot wait to talk about this in my August wrap up because I have feelings about it. And the last prompt for my August 2026 TBR is to pick a book that everyone has read. And this seemed like the perfect opportunity to finally pick up When the Moon Hatched by Sarah A. Parker. I have heard so many people talking about this book, and book two in this series just recently released. So it seemed like a good time to finally dive in. This book is also on my 26 Books in 2026 reading challenge, a challenge that I'm very far behind on that I actually don't know if I'm going to get to complete this year, but I was excited to finally pick this up. I'm very glad that I did. I will be honest, I picked this up at a point in the month where I have just been incredibly busy and have not been able to devote the time that I normally can to reading. So this took me quite a while to get through. I did actually finish this book, and I will tell you that I liked it enough that I have now picked up a book not on my TBR, which is book two in this series. So yes. And that is it for my August 2026 TBR. I'm very nervous about completing this one. I really, really don't think I'm going to. I actually feel like what's going to end up happening is that I'm going to make the executive decision to intentionally not read at least one of the books on this TBR, but I have to be okay with that. Like at the end of the day, I want to be picking up books that I'm feeling really drawn to in the moment, which I do think I've leaned into the last couple of months. I think that mood reading is great, especially if you're feeling a little bit slumpy, which I definitely was feeling in July and maybe have felt subtle remnants of that in August. So I'm happy that I have stepped away from my TBR to read things that are really tugging at me to read. I think that's made this month a pretty successful reading month for me so far, even though I really only picked up or attempted these two books in my TBR. But I'm excited to see what the rest of the month has in store for my reading and to talk to you about all of the books that I end up reading in August during my August recap. If you have read any of the books that are on my TBR this month, please put a comment down below, a spoiler-free comment down below. I love talking with people about books. I would especially like to hear if anyone has read Yesteryear and what their thoughts were on this book. And as always, everyone, please be safe. Bye-bye.